From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon. Welcome to your MTN Noon News for this Thursday. Good to be with you. I'm Don Hudson. Be warned. What seems like maybe a harmless mosquito bite could turn into something very serious. The Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services urging Montanans to take increased precautions against mosquito bites this summer. This after multiple mosquito pools tested positive for the West Nile virus. MTN's Madeline Heath has more information on how you can protect yourself and your family.
West Nile virus can cause illness in humans and horses through pesky mosquito bites. But there are actions you can take to swat away the danger.
You live in Montana, you're gonna get bit.
For Helena residents like Mark Campanella, he knows the biting pests are around, but is not concerned about West Nile virus.
All I know is you get sick, that's about it.
Jacqueline Santos also lives in Helena and feels similarly.
I have heard of it throughout the years, but it does fall under the out of sight, out of mind since I haven't seen it much.
The Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services is urging Montanans to take increased precautions against mosquito bites this summer. 4 mosquito pools have tested positive for the virus, including 3 in Lewis and Clark County and 1 in Cascade County.
So once we have our first detections in mosquitoes, it's great to just go ahead and assume that you are at risk when you're around mosquitoes throughout the state.
And although many may feel they won't contract the virus, anyone bitten by a mosquito in confirmed detection areas is at risk.
Because about 1 in 5 will show symptoms. Now that 1 in 5 is usually going to be what we usually refer to as mild symptoms.
This could look like the flu, nausea, long-term physical impacts, and even as severe as paralysis and death. There are actions you can take to prevent mosquito bites, explained through the 4 Ds.
Drain. And I think this is a really big one because it's something that we can actively do to protect ourselves, our families, and our livestock as well.
In addition to draining standing water, applying insect repellent, avoiding the outdoors at dawn and dusk, and dressing in long sleeves and pants when recreating are helpful actions. Although some residents were not aware of the severity of West Nile virus, they were already taking precautions without even knowing.
But she's been pretty good about staying away from the bugs, and we keep her mostly out of the sun.
For more information on West Nile virus and its surveillance, contact your local health department or visit this story on our website. Reporting in Helena, Madeline Heath, MTN News.
A hike turned violent near Red Lodge, and now deputies are searching for the suspect. Now, this all started on Sunday at the popular Basin Lake Trail, beginning with a dispute over off-leash dogs that spiraled into assaults with rocks thrown and a walking stick used as a weapon. MTN's Hannah Pettiferri followed the case and has the latest.
In the water.
Melissa Cole is an avid hiker.
Had a goal to go hiking once a week in the Beartooth Absarki Mountains.
Since learning about what happened on the Basin Lakes Trail, she's become more vigilant.
I carry a backpack, and I always have bear spray. I have a first aid kit. I have extra clothing and food and water.
Ready for whatever may happen.
Usually we prepare for wild animals and not other humans.
This all stems back to Sunday, when law enforcement says a woman was assaulted by another woman on the trail.
This female eventually reported this incident to law enforcement.
What started as a normal hike for the victim quickly turned scary after she was assaulted by the alleged aggressor.
At that point, it escalated from a verbal altercation to an actual physical altercation. We have had incidents before, but it's not common.
Sheriff Josh McQuillan said it started with an argument about dogs being off-leash and quickly escalated from there.
During that time, some personal defense spray was deployed, rocks were thrown, and then a walking stick was used by the female that had been running to try to strike the other female.
The Carbon County Sheriff's Department is asking the public for help in identifying a woman who was hiking here at Basin Lakes Trail Sunday morning.
We know that there were other people up there that day.
While Melissa wasn't there on Sunday, she says knowing about it has made her think even more about being considerate out on the trails.
When you're hiking with dogs, you have to be really careful and keep them on the leash. And be considerate of other people and their dogs also.
In Red Lodge, Hannah Pettiferry, MTN News.
If you happen to know who the woman is if you happen to have any information that could actually help in this incident, you are urged to contact the Carbon County Sheriff's Office. The number's at the bottom of the screen there, 406-446-1234.
Our satellite radar mix this morning showing it's fairly quiet for now. Shower and thunderstorm activity will increase for later, but in the short term, we still have at least some haze. Not really a big smoke problem with air quality concerns, but fires down in Utah and Arizona will continue to push up at least some smoky patches here. Heading into tomorrow, we can see that in south central and southeastern Montana. Then the other side of the coin, the moisture in the blue shaded regions especially, we're looking at above normal precipitate or above normal water vapor in the atmosphere that could lead to above normal precipitation, and that's what we'll talk about in a few minutes.
Now time for today's leading look as we follow some of the other stories making headlines. An inmate has died while serving her sentence at the Montana State Women's Prison. China Rose Dawn Davis died on July 21st after a medical call inside the facility and was later pronounced dead at Intermountain Health. Davis was convicted in a deadly 2019 motel robbery. Corrections officials have not released how or where the emergency happened, and the coroner is waiting for toxicology results before passing on any other information. Davis, by the way, was serving an 85-year sentence for her role in the shooting death of Carl Archer Jr. during a drug robbery that happened, and again in 2019. Her death remains under investigation. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Montana has given the Montana Historical Society $50,000 to help launch a free field trip program. The program, which is slated to start next year, aims to bring students from across the state to Helena to visit the Capitol and the new Montana Heritage Center. Now, the money can be used by schools to cover both transportation and lodging. Applications will be accepted on an ongoing basis with 2 deadlines. The first round of applications will be accepted until October 13th, with the second wave of funding being open until January 4th of 2026. Grizzly bears and their taste for livestock get a lot of attention when it comes to Montana agriculture. However, the Treasure State is also black bear country, and a dedicated team of specialists spending the summer monitoring their movements and habits in the Little Belt Mountains. In this afternoon's Montana Ag Network report, MTN's Tim McGonigal shows us some of the ways that they're gathering information.
A day in the office for black bear monitoring specialists in Montana means a hike to a hare corral.
A hare corral is maybe about 60 feet of barbed wire wrapped around a series of 3 to 6 trees at about 19 inches off the ground.
This is the 3rd year of studying hare corrals, with previous locations in the Blackfoot River drainage and west of Kalispell. Corrals are set up after the spring hunting season ends and before the fall archery season begins.
Similar to looking for a needle in a haystack, these black bear monitoring technicians with Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks in the Little Belt Mountains are looking for bear hairs on barbed wire.
And they'll go underneath that barbed wire where we'll be able to get a hair sample from them. From that hair sample, we can then get a genetic ID for that animal, and we use that information to develop our population estimates.
It's also important to clear DNA from the wire after the hair is collected.
Next time we come back, if a bear enters or exits at the same point, now we potentially have a sample that has multiple individuals' genetic material.
To attract bears, the team will douse a debris pile with fermented blood. Every 2 weeks, they also hang a secondary scent above the pile.
It was fish the last 2 weeks. Now it's going to be blueberry the next 2 weeks. We might switch that up to like a smoky bacon flavor next time. The idea being that we want those bears to come back again, too.
Each corral is equipped with a remote wilderness camera to track the bears coming and going.
That'll give us an opportunity at the end of the season to tie individual hair samples to a photo of that animal as they enter or exit the corral.
Another key aspect of bear monitoring is placing radio collars on bears, providing important insight from habitat selection to how the animals use the landscape.
The other really valuable aspect that we get from GPS collars is being able to monitor an individual's survival and cause-specific mortality over time. And we can do that across age and sex classes of bears.
Modern technology, some hardware store supplies, and a hint of nature. to study one of the wild's most intriguing creatures.
This is the best way to get black bear genetic samples without ever having to touch them.
In the Little Belt Mountains, Tim McGonigal, MTN News.